I think we are. Are we?
I would say yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, hi everyone. I am Runsy, an artist based out of Chicago, born and raised. Today we will be doing some quick sketches. I did I mention I was an artist? Yeah, I do a lot of illustration. So, I'm actually super nervous about drawing in public, and I kind of hate it. So, we will all be drawing. So, to make it better on me. So, hi Charlie. Hi Kayleen.
Hi guys.
These are our hands. We are now
Yeah.
hands.
We
All
are
right.
super
So,
excited to have you on today, and thank you for doing this lesson for all of us. I know you were nervous, but I'm hoping that we, as a community, we can all learn how to draw. I think me and Kaylin are pretty nervous on drawing. One, we're not artists, but everyone is an artist in the end. But also nervous because my nails look horrendous.
I feel that one.
We
Yeah.
just put lotion on.
My hands are so far away. I'm like, maybe they don't need lotion right now. Let me hide them. But yeah, I chose. So basically, what I've been doing is throughout the whole quarantine, I feel like it's been kind of this thing of you have to come out of quarantine with a masterpiece, whether you are an artist visually, a musician, I don't know, whether you're anyone, you have to come out with this whole art collection, right? And I feel like that's very, very nerve wracking. So, at least it was for me. And also, like when I make pieces, sometimes it gets boring to be working on the same thing over and over and over again, especially if you're like at the crib 24/7 and you can't leave. So, what I started doing to kind of as a brain exercise, um, I got this huge newsprint pad and I grabbed some pastels and grabbed some charcoals and I started timing myself with drawing objects. Some of them turn out horrific and then I just laugh at them and I keep life moving. And then other things kind of turn out really cool. And I'm like, I never would have thought that this was like a 5 minute drawing because it's so dope. So yeah, I put out a shoe, a boot. I actually have this piece. This is actually the same boot that I did in one of my prints. So, except this one's going to be much quicker. I grabbed some charcoal. This is a charcoal I use, General's charcoal. And then I grab also just like some random pastels. You could grab a pencil, marker, I don't know, crayon, steal some from the kids at home if you got kids at home. So yeah, let's start. So I'm gonna put let me put my timer on. I wore my watch just for this. So I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes and then we can start. Are y'all good?
Yes,
Let's do
we're
it.
All right,
ready.
cool. Perfect. So start. I really don't know what to do besides this. I literally, all I do when I'm drawing these items is I look at the item and I look at the shape. I feel like that has made me just a better person at drawing. I don't know. I look at it and I put some light on there. Usually I don't draw with any light for the reason that, I don't know, I just don't necessarily need it when I'm in my home. I fixed my thing. And then I look at the shape and how close things are to each other. So when I'm like drawing the shoe, I like look at the line, imaginary line that's going to go from here to down here, and then like how chunky it's going to be, and like the shape of the shoe, and how it's going to be like a like I don't know, it's not a straight line. If you draw an imaginary straight line, it would be like this, and you see that there's enough gap over here to make it. It's really quick, but you could totally do it. We are on 3 minutes and 58, and I just wasted a minute. So
So do you look at
I have like the worst angle.
like the negative space, or do you just are you looking at like the silhouette mostly for the line?
I look at the silhouette, but I make imaginary lines. So it's like if you were to make a line right here, you could have one split, and then you see how it extends over here. So like I'm trying to think like right here. If you were to, I don't mean to cover this up, but if you were to make a line from here to here, it's a triangle. You see that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then you start working from that angle on how long should the tip be from the top. So it should be it would be a line that's like this over the camera, right?
Yeah.
And then that's how you see how it should be.
How long have you been drawing, Runsy?
My whole life. Actually, I hate this one. My whole life, I started drawing when I was young. And usually I go really light at first just to make sure that it's I can fix it. When I do these, I don't really like to erase. Well, I never erase because there's no point in it if you're making it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, already
But
erased.
yeah, it's pretty cool. My whole life.
Did you know
But
you
I
were
know
going to be an artist your whole life?
no, I went to school for criminal justice.
What? Okay, now you should tell
Yes.
us more.
So I went to school for criminal justice. I was a really good student. I had I went to school. I was a really good student. I was like top of my class. And when it came down to it, I just realized that that's not what I was trying to do. It was basically I had two options. I could go to school and kind of finish and like have a career and make bread at the time. And I wasted all my time talking with this, but maybe we should make it 10 minutes.
Okay.
But basically, I went to school and I graduated and I had the option. I'm like, okay, I could do I could graduate, make some bread, get a job in my career, or I could kind of just figure it out and see what was going to happen. I always told myself the reason I didn't pursue a career, I didn't even apply. I've never applied for a job in my career. I didn't even try. I literally just got my diploma. I have it somewhere in here where it's just like not even in a actually frame. It's just there. And when I did it, when I got it, I was just like, whatever. Like, I'm not even gonna try. I'm young, and I'm just gonna. If I mess up, like, and something happens, and I don't become like successful, like I want, then I could just like try later on. But I'm like, what if I'm 40 and I like hate my life at this point, or like
Yeah.
50, and like I never tried and I never messed up. So yeah.
Do you
That's
feel
the
like before you never messed up? Like, what was that feeling of like? Because it sounds like you didn't want to. I don't know. You were like, I've never messed up, or what if
I
like
I'm
what?
I
Where did that
think
come from?
well, I think that everyone's scared to mess up in anything, Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like the biggest fear. I knew I had security because people think security is like, "Oh, I have this degree and like that's my security." I always thought about it in that manner. That's why I went and got it. I'm like, "All right, well, let me just like get this in the back of like whatever I'm doing." This is also terrible. It looks like a Peter Pan boot. This ain't no cowboy boot. This is a Peter Pan. I had it
I'm
5 more
working
minutes.
on shading. I'm
Um,
working on my shading.
Clean. I love the shading.
That's what I do.
um, I'm not even concentrating. I'm just like drawing lines at this point. But anyways, what were we talking about?
Messing up.
You were yeah.
Oh yeah, messing up. Yeah, so I got it as security, but afterwards I was like, all right, well, I have this in my back pocket. No one can ever take my education away from me. If at some point I want to fuse this together, like I'm always gonna have that at the back of like my mind. I did something and I could just like have that. Like it's not that I wasn't scared of like messing up or I've never messed up because I messed up initially by going to school and getting a degree in a career that I wasn't passionate about. Like that was
Yeah.
my first mistake.
Yeah. How did
So
you find out that? I mean, I knew you've been an artist all your life, but how did you find out, or how did you get the courage within yourself to do what you're doing today?
I feel like it was a lot of just I can't even see this. I feel like it was a lot of kind of sleepless nights. I knew what I wanted to do and I knew I wanted to draw, right? So I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And I feel like the more I work, the more opportunities started to open up without me having to kind of look for them, just
Yeah.
because I was working, so I started getting these opportunities. And I'm like, well, if I'm getting these opportunities, and that means that I have to be doing something right, like just by consistently like working and showing what I can do. And when I first entered like a contest online for Frank 151, and I ended up getting like my work everywhere, I was like, well, I'm doing this like degree. I was still in college, and I'm like, I'm
Wow.
working towards this degree. I'm still at the point where like I can't afford to change my degree. I think I was like 2 years in. I'm like, I can't afford to change my degree because I don't have money, and I was on a scholarship. So I'm like, my parents can't afford to pay for my school anymore, and
Yeah.
if I change my route, my scholarship only covers 4 years of school. So
Right.
there's no way that I can take a break and like figure out my life in between, or school's just, I'm just never going to finish. So I just kept it going, and I'm like, all right, well, if this is what I have to do, then I'm going to just work on the side and hustle every night. So every day I literally would just go home and work on art all night, work on
Wow.
art all night, and then figure it out.
Wow. Was
And then
it?
I would literally choose like late classes. I would choose classes where I would get up at 3 p.m., have to be in class at 3 p.m., and stay up till 5 a.m. every day, finishing my homework. I would have deadlines with people and like just multitasking. I don't even think I slept in college. My commute to college was like an hour and then an hour back. So literally every hour of my time was filled with something to do. But I
Wow.
wanted it so badly that I just kept doing it.
That's amazing. I love
And
the
I would cry a
hustle.
lot though.
What did you say?
I said I would cry a lot though, because I was always
Sleepless nights.
stressed.
Yeah, sleepless nights.
Yeah.
You're right.
I love the hustle and I love the drive. Did you like put your stuff up? Did you create a website and you were putting your stuff up? Were you already creating prints at that time? Like how were
Yes,
people getting to know your work? Was it Instagram?
so it was Instagram, but I was taking art classes. So I have an art minor. This is the worst thing I've ever drawn in my life. Um, but it's cool because it might not be the best, but I'm not
Yeah.
tripping. What was I gonna say? And this
Art
proves that I
minor.
cannot concentrate talking and doing this. But what was I gonna say? What was the question?
You say you had an art minor. I was asking how you were getting your work out there.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. So at first, I was taking classes for an art minor. And when you're an art minor, I went to UIC, you get to use a printers. So I
Oh.
Mm.
became, and then that is 10 minutes. Look how bad it is.
These are
No,
just.
that is
This
good.
is an exercise,
This is
though.
five.
I.
Yeah.
This is an exercise. Wow, Kaylee.
Yeah, you
Kaylee
snap.
got.
Mine is so bad, but it's
I
cool.
told
I'm gonna
you. I'm
switch it up, and we're gonna do another boom, right?
Okay.
okay. Yep. I'm using
Um,
this as my therapy. I told you.
I love.
I'm using this conversation as my therapy.
No, same.
Okay.
But what was
Okay.
I gonna
Wait. Can I
say?
have some notes on my last one? Like, what do I need to work on?
I'm not a good person to critique.
Well, that's good.
I
That
like
looks
I like the
beautiful.
shading. The shading is great. Positive critique.
Yeah, the shading is good.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh
You
yeah,
were
so
you
at
were saying
UNC
Instagram.
you get to print for free. So basically, I would spend all my time printing stuff, and I would just buy all my paper and then just go there and I would literally be there till like 2 a.m. or something sometimes,
Oh
and just
wow.
print, and then I would make 100% profits from everything I did. And I think a big cartel at the time.
Amazing.
Yeah,
That is
so
so funny. I just posted on my Instagram this like one zine I created when I was in college, and I literally
uh-huh.
said like if you are in school, like use up those resources. Like I
Oh
feel like
hell
that's
yeah.
the one thing that um I mean, that's
Wait,
what you
wait.
pay
Sorry to
for.
interrupt. I'm gonna start the 10 minutes. Let's see if
Okay,
this one gets any better.
perfect.
All right, cool. Keep going.
Yeah, like I feel like with school, I think people like if you are in college, there's a lot of pros and cons as with everything else, but definitely one of the pros aside from the networking that you can do is that there's so many like resources at your disposable, and you just need to
Yeah.
like find it and like get it take advantage of it, because I
Yeah.
basically used our print lab too and was just printing zines for so cheap because or for nothing at all. Like
Yeah, that was dope. I think that's the part I miss more about college. I don't miss anything else. I was like, damn,
yeah,
this was
because you could
lick.
rent out equipment for free. You don't have to pay for
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's crazy. You've like done really amazing collaborations. You want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure. I do you want me to name them or what do you want me to do?
Name them and then tell us like your most favorite one that you've done.
My favorite one. So I've gotten like the opportunity to work with Red Bull a lot. I love Red Bull. They're my family. We don't drink Monster in this house. Um, Sorry, Monster. um, I've
That's
got to
so
work
funny
with.
because literally one of our founders, he's like monster. He is like
The monster
Yeah, yeah.
guy.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't
he's
know. I
like
might have just
the main
fumbled my
rep.
Very
bag.
dingy.
Sorry, Dingo.
Yeah, I'm like I might have just fumbled my bag. I worked with Nike. I worked with Sprite. I I can't think. I don't know what else I've done, but yeah, it's been awesome. I feel like every opportunity has a different like moment in my life on why it's so important. I really appreciate Nike too. Like I did illustrations for Nike for the Chicago Marathon. That one was
Oh
amazing for the fact
wow.
that, I feel like the Chicago Marathon is like such a big thing in the city, and
Yeah.
being able to customize your t-shirt with my illustrations is dope. People are probably looking at this like, who hired you? Promise you, when I
Yeah.
concentrate, it's much better. Now I'm like, what am I doing? I don't even know. Um, Redbull, I made like my favorite zine with them. They literally told me like, all you have to do. I love working with companies that just let me do what I have to do and kind of don't micromanage what I draw. I feel like if you come up to me and it's like, oh, I want this, and it's like you have to micromanage everything, then it's like it no longer feels like it's my art.
Mhm.
Red
Yeah.
Bull gave me my first mural. They also
Oh.
basically came up to me and they're like, hey, like you have you can you we have this like festival going on. It was the first year of Red Bull Music Festival, which was 30 days of, I forgot what it was called at the time. And yeah, they just told me, they're like, all you have to do is figure out an idea of how to do this, like speak about like the city and speak about music. So I referenced No Name's album, and I made
Yeah.
a whole zine on like what Chicago is, and then like families and how it impacts me as a person and like stuff like that. It's like, it's cool how it's like, oh, just get like this kind of maybe I should draw from the angle I'm actually looking at it, because I don't even know what I'm looking at. But yeah, so it's pretty cool.
I
What
like
would
the
be
freedom part of it. That they're giving you freedom. That's
Yeah.
a good point.
that is the best at like any freelance or creative gig because it
Yeah.
feels like they're really paying for your talent versus you
True.
just executing.
I'm like, let me start this over.
What would be your tips to a student who wants to become a full-time artist? Do they need to go to art school? Do they need to take lessons? Or
Nope.
can you just do it all from like how do you learn?
I feel like I didn't go to art school. I got a minor. I've read up on everything I want to do. No one taught me Photoshop. No one taught me anything. I don't have a manager. Like, I feel like I'm kind of in a sense, an example of like what it can do. I do feel that school is important, so important, and it, if you can afford it, then yes, of course, do it.
Yeah.
Teaches you discipline, and I feel like everything along your life will kind of align at the end point. You never know, like even if you have to work a side gig to make ends meet, I feel like you learn so much along the way that it's all gonna align. I i was actually thinking about this earlier, like kind of like how I didn't go to school and then I still got kind of some opportunities that other people haven't gotten, or like it's kind of like a dream. Like I did a TED talk and it's like something to be proud of, and it's about a subject that, it kind of like I never sit down and think like how amazing it is, but I'm like at the end of the day I'm like, to be able to get to that point and like not have a degree in what you in this subject, it's like obviously I must be doing something right. But it's like when you have a passion for something, you're constantly working, you're being nice to people, you're I feel like being nice to people is like a big thing. It kind of takes you a long way. You just really have to start, and you have to be disciplined with yourself. So there was times where I wouldn't sleep. I would cry. Like I cry for everything that I have. And it's like, I'm still not at the point that I want, but it's like, if you know you want to be an artist, if you know you want to be a musician, then stop making excuses and get to working.
Yeah.
You become your worst enemy when you're like doubting yourself and not doing any of the work. And you kind of stop yourself from like how advanced you could be. And that's for me too. I doubt myself a lot.
That is powerful for an artist to say, because you really are your worst critique.
For sure.
Yeah. And I know artists experience that firsthand when it comes to like doing assignments. Whether you're doing assignments for school and you have to go into a critique, or just that anxiety you may feel when you're about to present work or share your work online or something. Like there's a lot of I feel like at that point you're critiquing yourself, like don't do it or whatnot. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
you gotta
Well,
push
it seems
through.
like it's hard because I think there's so much, since there's like Instagram and like, since you can see everything and that everyone's putting out all the time. I feel like it's hard to like, if you're like, okay, well, I've already seen three other people do something similar and it's amazing. If I don't put something out that's like what I think is the best, then it's going to be looked at badly because everyone can kind of see everything. But I think that's what I've run into before. Like, oh, I overthink the prep part and don't actually do the thing. And I need to just, I'm learning that you just need to do it. You just need to put it out because like you're just wasting your time trying to make it the most perfect. Like my boot right here, like these like 5 minute drawings. You're just like, you're getting better, you're getting practice and just by doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, why I started these is literally like I've drawn this boot 1,000 times already, and it looks different every time, which is cool. But I think like that thing that it's like you have to hop on social media and have like a masterpiece or something, or have it finished, and it's like by the time you do it, you're like you finish it, you're like, oh crap, like I don't even like this. Like I stress so much on what people are gonna think about it, and it's like honestly, who cares? Like literally that's like my new thing. I'm like, I honestly don't care. Like if people like right now I'm like, this is the worst food I've ever drawn in my life. But who cares? Like I know if I spend more time I could like better it, but the point is that I'm actually doing it and I'm like facing a fear. Like right now I'm facing the fear of like being seen drawing anything in my life because I knew that this was gonna happen. But yeah.
Facing your fears. I love it.
I'm better at this than I thought.
You
Right,
are.
that's good.
You are so good at it.
Yeah.
I'm worse at this than I thought.
Love. This has been very therapeutic, I must say.
I know, I like it.
Runsy, you need to do more of these.
Right? And then people are gonna have just Instagram clips of like just bad boots everywhere. 10 minutes are up. Damn it. I wasn't even keeping track. This one was better than the last one.
Love it.
Yeah.
Should we switch it?
Do you want to do
Yeah.
one more?
Bring it
Sure.
on.
How many minutes are we on now?
Um,
I don't even have my watch. Let's do a Lysol can.
yeah,
Ooh.
let's do like a 5 minute
Very quarantine-ish.
Yeah. Quarantine. Okay, this is the speed one. This is actual. Like this is gonna be an actual 5 minute one.
one. Yeah, let's do a 5 minute one.
Okay, cool.
All right. I'm not even scared now. I'm using a Sharpie. That's how.
Nice.
That's how.
Cool. Can you see it? Does it look bogus? There you go.
Shout out to Lysol. Thanks for the plug.
Right?
Thanks for the cleanliness. Oh yeah.
So, are you a full-time artist, Runsy, or do you still have like a full-time job?
Well, right now, yes and no. So I've been working with Patron a lot. So yeah, I am a full-time artist. Yeah. But with the quarantine, I feel like I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I work with Patron now, which is pretty cool. I am the cultural manager for them, so I get to also host dinners around the city, honoring different people and their accomplishments, and it's cool. And then I get to do my art 24/7.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's pretty neat. A lot of fun. Love my family.
Your dream art commission or project, I should say.
I really want to start working with the reggaetoneros. So Bad Bunny, I think Bad Bunny is first. I love him.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like with me, I'm like, I just literally like want people to commission me for my work and my style versus like me having to like create illustrations of these artists to be seen, you know, like I want people to see what I make and then they'll be like, oh my god, that's dope, like can you make it for me, blah blah blah. But yeah, I really love reggaeton, so that's my main thing.
Would you say you have like a mentor or somebody that you talk to about a lot of art related things? Like, hey, should I do this or what should I ask for? Or do you turn to anybody or are you just kind of trying to figure it out solo?
No, I don't have a mentor. What I do is I have a lot of friends that care about me. So my friends, like if I have a gig and like so every time that I get hired for graphic design, I go to my homie Vic. He's really talented. He does a lot of graphic design, and we kind of compare prices in the market. So I'll tell him, I'm like, I don't want to lowball the market. So what are you charging other people to do it? So maybe Vic is like, why are you telling her a secret? So, you know, so that kind of stops artists from getting paid low because now the market's at the same. If you hit me up, you're going to get the same price as Vic. And if you hit any other artist up that's like, we're kind of like, you know, doing a lot of the work in the city, then now we all price match and these people can't lowball us. So it's like, that's how
smart.
Yeah, so that's how it is. Like I hit up, if I have a huge illustration gig, I'll hit up my homie Alan Zane. And I'll be like, Alan Zane, I saw you did a similar gig. What do you think I should price it at? Do you think this is too low? Then we compare and then we move on like that. So it's like everything I have to do, like sometimes I'll hit up people like, yo, I see you got this deal, I just got offered it, like what do you think on the price? And then that way, like we're not, I feel like that's like a big thing that artists don't get paid well because sometimes people need money and like they kind of settle for whatever they're being offered. And I feel like if it doesn't sit right with me, then I'm just not gonna do it. And I'm like, I'm also not gonna lowball this market because then none of us are gonna get paid.
True.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. So it's like you're working with like a, you have like a,
Sounds
even
like a
though you're,
union.
I don't want, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how it is with all of us. We tend to do that a lot. Well, at least me and my friends. I'm very comfortable at asking my friends like, "What do you get paid?" If you're an artist and you can be as open, be like, "Yeah, I get paid that." Get your money up. Get more money than me. Like there ain't no hater, like no hater things like energy within like me and my friends. Like we're literally as open as it is and like comfortable to be like, "Yeah, go ask for more bread." Nah, they're ripping you off, or like now that's actually a good deal. If I need like if I'm having trouble with having a contract having a contract reviewed, I'll hit up like my sister and I'll be like, "Hey, like can you read this through and like tell me what the best thing is? Like you work in marketing, like do you think this is bogus?" And
Mm.
yeah, it just works like that.
With
Using your
your law
resources.
degree, did that help you understand contracts more, or your sister's the one who really helps you with that?
No, I mean it didn't really help me with contracts. I think I've just like read them, I Google them, and then my sister just goes through them.
Yeah.
But
Do you
it
feel
didn't
like
help.
go
Do I
ahead.
feel like what? No, I
I was
wasn't
just
in
say,
sync with.
do you feel like any of your, because I got a business degree and I'm not doing too much with business, but I picked it because I was like, I don't know what I want to do. That seems broad. Like, do you feel like any of your, I mean, besides the art minor, like any of your criminal justice degree you actually use now? Or mainly you just use the experience from college?
I
Or you ever
use
like
well,
drop in criminal justice facts?
no, well, I mean, I have like I a lot of people don't know that I do have my criminal justice degree. What I like to do is I feel like what that has taught me is like what type of stories I want to tell within my artwork and who
Mm.
essentially do I want to help and where is my passion with that. So it's like, I know I have a passion for helping young males that have been incarcerated because I know so much about the system that I want to make sure that they get a voice or that they get their stories heard by me putting it out there, interviews with them or like drawing them illustrations. I feel like that's what has helped me and how I keep my criminal justice degree alive. And like even
Very
then the
cool.
way I kind of like look at different things and what I'm passionate about.
I love how you're tying everything together and that you're using your platform as a form of advocacy. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like my main thing. I'm like I have like a really soft spot in my heart for people, and I'm like anything that has to do with like criminal justice and like people being incarcerated with. I'm like yo, like I will help you. I will post it. I will like if you need any donations, like art. Like I'm literally like that's what I want to do, and like essentially in the long run, like that's kind of like where I want all of this to tie into. Sometimes we get so focused on like work and like the moment that we forget about like the larger things in life that matter and what truly like fuels us and like what we care about. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
what I care about.
Like a
So yeah,
well,
it's been past 5 minutes. I saw.
I wrote my
Amazing.
name instead
Oh, that's
of
Oh,
cute.
like
See, you got
love.
creative.
Love. Thank you, Runsy. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Of
Any
course.
last tips that you want to tell students?
Any last tips?
Yeah. How can they get
Um,
started today?
Oh, that was literally going to be it. Start today because tomorrow is not guaranteed. But I think it's like my greatest tip is believe in yourself because if you don't believe in yourself, then what's the point of everybody else believing in you? We let our minds kind of govern us and other people like it. So I'm reading this book, right? And he says this thing that he's like he says by the fifth day, so basically he's running this like no he's working he's in this like camp to work out and it's like super super hard and he's like by the fifth day like you everybody tells you that you're gonna want to give up and he's like then it comes to the fifth day and you get so tired and you're like damn like I do want to give up. Like they were right. I'm really tired. But he's like, what you do is that you make thoughts in your head by listening to what other people have told you instead of you being like, oh, actually, I'm not that tired. Like, I could keep on going. So it's like when you let other people govern your thoughts and like telling you that no, you can't do it, or no, that's too hard, or I've seen the way you work, and like, you usually give up on things. That's when you give up on yourself. And it's like you can't do that. You got to be like, this is what I want to do, and kind of retrain your mind on how to accomplish it and believe in yourself. Be like, I'm not tired. People should say, oh my God, it's 3 a.m. You're still working. You must be so tired. And then I'm like, oh my God, maybe I do need some sleep. And now I cut some hours from me working late at night because I believe that, and it's like, you have to believe in yourself, what your body wants, and, take care of yourself and get to the coins, get to working, and get to following your dream. Every day that you don't do something is a day less, unless like, you don't constantly have to be working towards your dream on that level, but you should be doing something for yourself every day, whether it's like working out, eating healthy, something that makes you feel good, so that the next moment that you're following your dream, or like doing something, that it's actually going to be worth it. So that's my 5-minute tip.
I love that. Thank you again, Runsy.
Of
We
course.
hope to see you soon.
Me
And
Yes.
too.
Runsy, tell them really quick where they can find you.
Runsy with 3 Y's on everything. So Runsyyy.
Awesome. Thank you again,
Thank you.
Runsy.
Bye.
Wow.